two main arguments. My opponent's argument about equal sovereignty and our arguments about judicial bias. So let's start off with my opponent's contention. So equal sovereignty, so my opponents failed to rebut, and they avoided the question when we've asked, where is it in the Constitution? It's obviously not in the Constitution, therefore this has nothing to do with the resolution itself. I have evidence here saying that from Stephen D. Schwinn, saying that Chief Justice Roberts failed to mention that the principle of equal state sovereignty previously applied only to the conditions upon which states were admitted to the Union. The Voting Rights Act is not dealing with states being admitted to the Union. Sorry. And it's not day-to-day treatment of states by Congress, and much less congressional treatment of the states under enforcement power by the Reconstruction Amendment. So obviously, my opponent's argument about equal sovereignty is totally not related to the resolution at all, so this should not be considered when judging. Moving on to my contention about judicial bias. Our framework states that it's Poe's burden to prove that each one of the Supreme Court justices ruled fairly and by facts alone. So, John Roberts, in our third contention, he was deeply involved in efforts to curtail the effectiveness of the Voting Rights Act, the hard-won landmark in 1965 law that is intended to ensure that all Americans can vote. So, he was involved. He is obviously biased. He is biased, and therefore this is not fairly. He did not rule fairly. He did, as I stated, the framework is to prove, the pro's burden is to prove that each one of the Supreme Court justices ruled fairly. They failed to prove that John Roberts ruled fairly, so we have won this debate on many levels because they did not prove that John Roberts ruled fairly. They did not prove equal sovereignty. So therefore, we strongly urge a con ballot in today's draft.